morning, good afternoon, a very good evening to you, wherever you are. Yes, ultimately, the weight of your program, you were so eager to hear a personality is here with us. Well, a person who has unbelievable ups and downs from fighting to fitness to finance, from bottom to top, from service to business and whatnot. Yes, here is the man, Shane Fitcher. A very warm welcome to you, Shane. And we say namaste. I literally fold my two hands and bow down my head to you. Superb, superb, unbelievable. Believe me, my skin here, they literally stood up when I read your biodata and your detail.
Thank you.
Wow, what a great personality you are. Well, here are the few lines that the Sean has sent me. Before he says something, let me tell you first. And they go like this: from surviving addiction and incarceration to becoming a professional fighter, mindset coach, a successful entrepreneur. Shan Feature's journey is one of the raw, great, and real transformation. He has built businesses from scratch, including one that hit $1 million. I repeat, $1 million in the first year. And now he empowers others through his havoc mindset by teaching people how to thrive in chaos and turn struggle into strength. Get ready to meet a man who proves that rock bottom can be the foundation for greatness. Very warm welcome to you, Sean. Shan, very warm welcome. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah.
Thank
Before
you.
I proceed and ask question, because there are hundreds of questions our listeners have sent to me, please give your introduction from your side within 30 seconds or so, and then we will start and jump to the question. Shan, please.
Y- Thank you very much for having me on the show. Yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been a professional fighter, but life wasn't always easy for me. My mom was a drug addict. My father committed suicide when I was 13, and we never really had a stable place to live. We were, stayed at friends' houses, very poor. And when my father committed suicide, that's when I started using and falling into addiction myself. Um, I always, did sports and stuff like that. But once I started partying, and that kind of became the only way I knew how to function. I was a drywall taper, but I was always taking pills. And eventually I ended up becoming a junkie, like using IV needles and shooting up. I had multiple overdoses, almost died. And that rock bottom is, like you said, it is a very strong foundation. And I think that it creates a lot of drive. That drive almost comes from the fear of being the person that you used to be.
Wow, great, great, Sean. Jen, very great. Well, before I ask you a question, I got a small background that we would love to hear what moment of realization that sparked your transformation from addiction to incarceration, and that too from fighter and to a coach that you are today. For that, Shan, please tell us what was the turning point that shifted your mindset. Platform is yours. Shan, please.
Yeah. The main thing I think that I learned was I'm a strong believer that where we come from, like where we are in our life, our success, the relationships we create are all deeply tied to the story that we're telling ourselves in our head on a day to day basis. So, the turning point for me, like we said, was rock bottom, but I started to learn that my struggles, my rough childhood, the hard things that happened to me didn't make me less than, it made me stronger, right? Like I'm I think that the beliefs that we have about ourselves and the world around us, that's what keeps us from changing. That's what keeps us from transforming, right? I'm just a drug addict like my mom because my mom was a drug addict, right? I'm less than because I come from a poor family. When in all actuality, when you come from those places, it actually makes you more capable of greatness. When I was a kid, we had to problem solve, right, which is entrepreneurship, just to survive, just to make enough money to eat food. I was good at solving problems. I was resilient because I had been at the bottom. Once you've been at the bottom in the trenches, your fear goes away. Like you don't have anything else to lose. So for all people, we will take, oh, I'm not good enough from our parents. Um, my mom and my family were poor. I could never have a house like that. But those are wrong beliefs. So when you can change the way you think about yourself and the world around you, that's when real change happens. And just a little story on that note. Um, so I used to run from being the child that I was. Like I used to run from trying to like get away from my identity. And when I started fighting MMA, I had been training with a lot of guys that had a lot more experience than I did. And I had skills and talents though that they didn't have. They've been training their whole life, but they didn't have the resilience I had. You know, they didn't have the strength that I had. They didn't have the putting all caution to the wind, no fear, and just going forward. Like they didn't have those attributes. So it started helping me see that my rough childhood, my family being poor, actually created a lot of strength within me, a lot of skills. You know, you can honestly think that a lot of your struggles in life, they are your superpower, you know? Um,
Yes.
and I feel like when I let go of control and started accepting who I am instead of trying to change who I was, that's when the transformation happened. And was so eager to learn more about who I was and how my mind worked.
Wow, great. I was thinking that if your childhood is not good, then there are all chances that future will not be good, because ultimately childhood is your foundation, but you
Yeah.
are the one who literally changed everything and made it, proved it wrong, that no, childhood has got
Yeah.
influence but not that much.
You
Wow,
know,
great.
in the American CIA, when they get new recruits, the first thing that they teach them is that just a little bit of childhood trauma will actually create a high achiever. Do you know?
Oh.
Because they are striving for validation. They'll do anything they can to
Mhm.
succeed, you know?
Wow. Well, Shan, I would love if you will, in my next question, explain that how your philosophy helps people see challenges not as an obstacle, just now you told, but as a opportunities for the growth. And for that, the short question is, what does it truly mean to embrace the chaos? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so when I was in drug rehab, okay, this is a great story, and this is kind of will link to what I mean is we had to write out a timeline of all of our good and bad things that happened in
Mm-hmm.
our life to
Mm-hmm.
help us figure out how we escalated to get to our crime. And I found this paperwork later when I was doing self development with one of my own coaches, and I was learning about limiting beliefs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Limiting beliefs are beliefs that we put on ourselves that say, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. Right. Well, in this timeline, I was going through all the bad situations that happened in my life, and I wrote out them all under limiting beliefs. And people should try doing this because it'll blow their mind. But if you can go through some of the hardest things that you went in your life, and I want you to write it out and ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
how did this situation, like what skills, talents, and traits have I gained from this bad thing that happened in my life? Like, how
Yeah.
did I benefit? How did I benefit from this hard thing that happened in my life? And it'll blow your mind. It will
Mm-hmm.
change the way you see the hard situations in your life. There is no good or bad, right? It's all how we perceive it. So if you notice something that happened bad and you go and you find the learning lessons that are in it, the things that are going to make you be better, right? Like I had to go to 9 different elementary schools. Okay. Now you could look at that situation as, oh, poor him. He had to make friends. He never kept friends. You know, that must have been hard on him to go from school to school to school. But you know what? I'm really personable. I can walk up and talk to anybody. it
Oh.
it helped me become a salesman because every school I had to go to, I had to make more friends. I had to get my foot in the door. I had to learn how to meet people, right? Um, there's just all these little skills and talents and traits that we get from the hard situations in our life.
Yes, very right. Very right. Yes. So basically, whatever is happened is nothing but the blessings. Just to take
Yes.
it as a blessings. But
Yes.
we, the people, what we do is we keep on bringing that past into present and future
Yes.
and keep on saying that this didn't happen, that didn't happen, and all. And we keep on crying. But really, you are the man who literally learned something unbelievable and just moved forward, moved ahead. Wow, great. Well, Shan, can you please draw the connection between physical strength and mental power and how one can fuel in one of them? And for that, as you have mentioned, fighting inside and outside the ring. So, how does the combat training shape your mental resilience? What would be your answer, Shan?
So one thing that I always say is in the that life is like being in the gym. Okay. If you're not pushing yourself to failure, then you're not growing. You're
Oh,
not getting the most potential you can, right? So like when you're lifting weights, you lift it until you can't lift anymore. And that's tearing those muscle fibers. That's strengthening that muscle. It tears the muscle fibers and then the muscle rebuilds bigger and stronger. That's the same thing with the mental process, right? Every time that I don't think I can do something and then I end up doing it, I'm building confidence, right? Like David Goggins talks about it. We have our mind is only job is to keep us alive. So when you're working out and your mind says, I can't go any longer, I'm too tired, it's only 40% committed. So you can actually go 60% more. Well,
oh,
when you're training in the gym and you're doing martial arts or training MMA, you're constantly pushing those boundaries. You're constantly making yourself stronger. You're constantly proving that little mind in your head that it's wrong and that you can keep going.
Oh, but I agree with you. But let me tell you my experience that whenever I try to do that, immediately after that, either I felt sick or I was too tired, I was exhausted, or I was just drained out.
Yeah.
But still, what you are saying is yes. So I promise you that from today itself, I will see that at least I move little bit ahead. I must
Yeah.
cross my limit. I must cross my limit.
A
Yeah,
little bit and a little bit.
little
And
bit.
then
Correct,
the next
correct.
time, the next time you probably won't be so sick. You won't be so tired and it'll be less and less and less. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I loved it. Well, Shan, I wish that you share a key lesson from rebuilding yourself as an entrepreneur after the setbacks and failures. For that, you are the man who could build $1 million business after losing it all. Please tell what mindset shift made it possible. How it is. I cannot dream of it. How could you make it possible? Shan, please.
Sorry for the inconvenience. I think his network lost.
Ah,
I'm trying to reach him out.
We're back. Sorry.
It's okay. It happens. Life is like that. But
Yeah.
again, you have proved that you can come back.
Yeah,
Lovely.
we keep going. Yeah.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah. So, Shan, I was asking you that you are the man from whom we would know, come to, want to know that. What are the key lessons from rebuilding yourself as an entrepreneur? And that too from the setbacks and the failure. For that, what mindset shift a person needs to come back? What would be your reply, Shan, please?
I would say self work always. Okay. So I
Please,
think
please, 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 please repeat. What did you say?
self work, work on
Self worth.
self, self work. Yeah. Work on yourself and everything else will follow. Right. We got to just keep developing ourself, developing our mindset. I do a lot of journaling. I do a lot of
Mhm.
writing things down. See, if I was to ask you a really hard math question, right? But I said you can't use a calculator, what would you ask me for? You would ask me for a pen and a piece of paper.
Correct.
So if we can't, what makes us think that we can figure out our thoughts just inside our head? We need to put it down on paper.
Okay.
Journaling has helped me understand a lot of complex things around my life. And I would say my morning routine, waking up when my mind is fresh and opening my journal, meditating, you know, doing that self work. I always said you can learn a lot about yourself in the early parts of the day, and I think that for entrepreneurship, it's a must. You need to be writing, documenting, tracking your progress is all very, very important.
So, what you do, for example, if you have written something and then how you use that?
You mean the journaling? How do I use my journaling?
Hmm?
Yeah.
Hmm?
So, okay, your mind is like a supercomputer. Okay.
Okay.
If you ask it a question, it will try to come up with the answer. So,
Hmm.
when I say journaling, I don't mean like dear diary. More of the times, I'm writing out what I'm grateful for. I write out things I need to get done that day. And then I start asking myself some really hard questions, right? I
Hmm.
ask myself, you know, what am I struggling with right now? You know, why when my mom comes around do I get angry? Like, what in my past has made me to be this person with these things that I want to fix or these things I want to change? Like all these self identifying questions, I think are going to help you figure out who you are, learn more about yourself. And it's not like a fix it all thing. Like you don't just do some journaling one day and then never have to do it again. It's all preventable care. It's all doing the work every day,
Hmm.
learning about yourself. I think learning about ourselves is a big part of self development, learning what our strengths are, learning what things that we want to, like, what do I love? What am I good at? Right? These are all great questions to ask yourself.
Oh, great. I would love to talk to you and discuss personally once the session is over.
I'm down.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Great. So nice of you. Thank you, Shan. Thank you so much. Well, we want to know more that what would happen, how you will explore the universe patterns you have seen across your coaching clients and that too from the teens to the multimillionaires. For that, Shan, what do high performance and their rebuilding and those rebuilding from the scratch, what is the high performance? On one side you take the high performance, and one side if you take the people who are rebuilding from the scratch, from in between these two types, what is the common item? What have you seen which is the common in them?
So, what is in common with the high performers and the people that are rebuilding?
Perfect, yes.
I would definitely say that from the most beautiful thing about being at a spot where you're rebuilding
Mm-hmm.
is that is your rock bottom, right? Like when you get to change, like
Mm-hmm.
you decide that everybody decides where their rock bottom is, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And see, a lot of people that are high performers have
Yes.
probably hit that rock bottom multiple times and
Mm-hmm.
rebuild and rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. So we've all been at rock bottom because rock bottom's pretty much the point where we decide I don't want to go down anymore and I'm going to go up, right?
Right.
Some of the most successful people in the world have been broke, they've been poor, they've lost it all, they've lost millions. So they're rebuilding still, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly rebuilding, tearing something down, making something new, adding something to it, hitting a wall, failing, making a new direction. Um, and honestly, one thing to realize is a lot of these high performers, we put them on this huge pedestal up here, but they're human beings just like me and you. They breathe air. We can do everything that they can do, and they're really no different. There's nothing that makes them special. They just found the direction they wanted to go, and they kept getting up every time they fell down and keep moving forward.
Wow. And then perhaps that is the only difference I think that is there between the successful and failures. That once a failure gets hit down, then he will not think of raising a leg again, or he will not
Yeah.
think of standing up again. Whereas, as you said, that the high performers they keep on, keep on, keep on, keep
Yes.
on, keep on. Yes, very right. Well, if everything you feel, Shan, that it is in us, only we can do, it happens because of us only, then what about universal pattern that you have seen across your coaching clients and from the teens to the multimillionaires? And for that, what do you think that those teenagers should be fed with few mantras so that will get coming up and rebuild and grow, so that when they grow up it will be very much helpful to them?
What mantras?
Yeah, what seed you should feed in the teenager so that as the teenager grows, that thought process will grow and they will also grow.
Learning failure. I
Mm-hmm.
think, like we just talked about, learning failure and
Mm-hmm.
learning to get back up. Um, I think when it comes to mantras and affirmations, if that's what you're talking about,
Yes.
um, I like to repeat, I'm proud of myself. I've
Mm-hmm.
come a long way. I think that's probably the one of the best mantras that anybody can say to themselves because it's always true. I'm proud of myself. I've come a long way.
Right. Well, by the way, is it possible to offer practical tools or the rituals that you use to stay strong when life throws unexpected punches? And for that, Shan, How do you stay grounded and focused when chaos strike again and again? What you do?
I do a lot of meditation. I try to
Uh-huh.
sit with myself in silence and process everything. Try to focus on my breathing. Um, I do a lot of affirmations, right? Like every morning when I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm talking to myself and I'm telling myself affirmations and I'm telling myself, I love you, right? I think that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to do.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that can't look themselves in the mirror and say, I love you. And that's the proof that it's going to work, right? If it's too hard for you to say I love you to yourself in the mirror, that could be something that's holding you back, right? So um I think that if we can continuously work on ourselves in any way possible, right? Read books, meditate, journal, tell ourselves affirmations. Whenever life gets crazy, I can always look at my self development and I know it's been lacking. I haven't been doing it. I haven't been, every morning I have a morning routine because that's me preparing myself for the day, right? And that way I can keep moving forward. I can keep moving through the day. And I think a lot of thoughts to come up to think about is that 85% of the stuff that we worry about
Hmm?
never happens.
Oh, 85%.
85% of the things that we
Oh,
worry about never happen. And only 12% of the things that do happen the way we thought they were going to happen. Usually
oh.
they happen, if they do bad things do happen, they're not as bad as they would have been, right? So ask yourself both sides of the coin. What is the worst that could have happened?
Hmm?
What is the best that could have happened?
Hmm?
And most of the time, it's going to land right there in the middle, And I think that grounds you. I think that helps you keep moving forward through chaos.
Yes. Well, Shan, I got so many questions to ask, but the time do not permit me. So let us go on a bit lighter side. I'll be asking you short, small question, and please try to reply them in the shortest possible form. And if time permits, we'll come back to these questions again. But here is the first question that Shan, for you. What is the one word that defines your mindset today? What is that?
Consistency.
Wow, consistency, consistency, consistency. Great. Fine. And for you, Shan, what is the hardest lesson that life ever taught you? What is that?
I would say ah, the hardest lesson that life ever taught me.
Hmm?
That's a hard one, man. Because there's been a lot of hard lessons.
One of them?
So yeah, I would say to not run away from who I am,
Oh, please repeat again. Repeat again. Do not run away.
from who I am.
Oh,
Don't
lovely.
change myself for other people.
Shan, you have read so many books, you have met so many people, you have experienced so much of items. Out of that, would you like to give me a name of one book that you think that really worked very well for you?
Yeah, I think how to win friends and
Hmm?
influence people.
Oh, by Dale Carnegie. Superb.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's
I
probably
love it.
that's like my
Yes.
favorite. Yeah.
Perhaps it is the Bible for me. Yes.
That is, it's the relationship Bible. Yeah, it is for making relationships.
Right, 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 right. Shan, if someone asks you what will be the best advice that you have ever given to a client, what is that?
I think to the best advice that I'd ever given to one client,
Hmm?
this has to be short though, so it can't be a story, but um, to close the loops. Okay. Close your
Oh,
loops. Okay. What I mean by that is if there's somebody that you have resentment towards, or there's something you're angry about, or so you could have an emotional loops, or just tasks that you've been avoiding, things that you've been avoiding, try to finish those things, close the loop, right?
perhaps that is why the this universe is round. Always close the loop, close the loop,
Always
close the
close the
loop.
loop. I love that.
Superb. Shan, can you recall that one fear that you have completely conquered?
Yeah. I would say avoiding conflict because for
Ah.
a long time, I would say I avoided conflict. And
Uh-huh.
I think this is still a battle for me today. I still have to work on it every day.
Oh.
Every day.
Great confession. Well, Shan, please tell what drives you every single morning? What is that?
So when I started fighting,
Hmm?
that's when I first learned that my story and where I come from could be inspiring to people.
Hmm?
And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning is it's not me, it's so here I'll tell a real quick story. But my mom, when she died, because she was a drug addict, the last 5 days of her life, she was very unfulfilled. Like she regretted and wished that she could go back and change it. And it was very sad and depressing. But it lit a fire under me because I didn't want anybody I love or knew to get to the end of their life and live in regret and be unfulfilled. So what gets me out of the bed in the morning is thinking that there is one person that I can inspire or that I can help live a life of fulfillment.
Superb, superb. For me, I am a speaker, so I have a code that Dinesh, speak out. People are waiting to listen you,
Yes, yes, yes.
and that is how I get motivated. Well, Shan, one more item, please. Tell us who has been your biggest inspiration in your life. Who is that?
I'd have to say my grandfather. So I've been trying
Ah,
to. My
uh-huh,
grandfather was an entrepreneur,
uh-huh.
and I feel like I try to live up to his standard or his to make him proud. You know, he did pass
Hmm.
away. He did pass away, but that's kind of
By the way, when did he pass away?
about 5 years ago.
So
Yeah.
till that you were with him?
Yes. Yes. And when
Oh,
I was a young kid, he
so
was an
lucky.
entrepreneur, and yeah, love my grandpa.
Superb. Great.
Thank you.
Shan, will be your next step as a Shan Fisher?
My next step actually is funny. I'm more than likely going to be retiring from fighting. I've been doing bare knuckle boxing. That's where
Mm-hmm.
this big scar came from.
Oh,
Yeah, I had a pretty hard fight against a Russian guy over in New York. I'm now 40, and so my next step is going to be creating this renovation business that I'm starting. So
lovely, lovely.
I'm doing some construction work, but then also motivational speaking and
Uh-huh.
just to keep inspiring people, man. Keep signing clients. I also do martial arts
Mm-hmm.
coaching and instructing, so I've kind of been introducing that into my mindset coaching. I've been kind of mixing the two together
Hmm?
bringing boxing and striking into the in-person clients I have, and just kind of guiding the people that aren't in person into a martial arts gym. So, yeah,
Oh, and I promise you that all my listener and me, we bless you. May
thank
God
you,
bless you and give you all the strength so that you can make your dream true. Well,
thank
Shan,
you,
before we end, here are the few lines which I would love to announce. And for that, thank you, Shan, for reminding us the pain that you can be our greatest teacher and the true power that comes from fight within. Your story is a proof that chaos can be the birthplace of clarity, courage, and change. To everyone listening, remember, you don't need an easy life. You need a strong mindset.
yes,
Let's all walk away ready to face our challenges and head on and build our best problems yet are to come. And on behalf of everyone, we thank you.
thank you,
We pray Almighty God to give you all strength, wisdom, time, power, money, surrounding, situation, everything, so that the path that you have thought of, path that you are traveling, will become easier, simpler, and faster to achieve. May
thank
God
you,
bless you, Shan. We say
thank you,
namaste
Dinesh.
to you. Thank
Have a
you
great
so
night.
much. If
Thank you.
time permits, please come again on our stage. Believe me, I loved these sessions. It was so
I will.
nice. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Stan. See you soon.